I don't know if you guys noticed, but Bubbleonia just started a Skyrim playthrough. Definitely make sure to check that out. What's up, Allie? Good morning, afternoon, etc. That is a long way away.
Ready, hurry!
Curve this way. Man, I just really enjoy this zone every time I come back. No, tomorrow, Allie. Tomorrow. At this time, I plan on starting with, like, this stream session. Tomorrow I'll be doing Destiny 2. Is the plan, anyway. Yeah, today's Saturday. Today, in the afternoon, probably more of the
Such delicate fineries you might craft
Lord of the
with
Rings
that.
game. Modular Mammoth says that I was in their top 5 most watched YouTube channels this year on Recap. Nice, thank you. Appreciate that. The most valuable thing you have in life is your time, so I appreciate you spending time on my channel, watching things. Appreciate the fact that I have continued to be entertaining. Hopefully it will continue for years to come.
With Kenathi's swiftness.
Oh, no worries, Ellie. No worries. Right. Now, I think she had asked me if I could avoid killing Vosh Racket to remain undetected. So one thing I wish this spell had was like an game spell. One thing I wish this game had was an invisibility spell or an actual stealth ability. I think that would be really cool. If there is, I'm not aware of it. Why do I start super early? Because early birds get the worm, and I'm a hungry person
I pray your words aren't lost.
who has objectives to accomplish with my wife. Trying to buy a second investment property and set up the rest of my pension. So I get up early because I love what I do. And when you get up early, you are the one who controls your destiny and your day. Or I could be lazy and sleep. And not accomplish anything, like so many other people in this world.
Vision fades. And yet, the Vosh Rock, they attacked our stronghold, crying for our blood.
I don't think that's related to getting inside. There's an arrow there. I'm not sure what it relates to. There's another arrow up there. Yes, I'm in Rothgar. Yeah, I can't do anything with that. Oh, hang on. Is there another one up over here? Yes. How do we get up there? Hijo de puta madre. Ah, chingado, güey. Doesn't want to let me get up there. At least not that way.
A useful find.
Yeah, I don't see anywhere up there. Oh, 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 shit. Well, I didn't get seen by the soldiers. But here's more arrows. I bet this is leading me on a path to not being detected. Maybe. There's another one over here. There's another one over there. Yeah, this is totally like leading me on a little path through here. How cool is that? Did I get the Dagoth mod or follower mod? I don't use mods when I play. And I have no idea what those mods do anyway. But yeah, I don't use mods, so we play the games raw and wriggling as the developers made them. Alright. Let's go quick. There she is.
You made it! Excellent!
Like my favorite NPC of all time.
You found me! I knew you could do it. Did you like the trail I left for you? It was easy. Hide, release an arrow, move forward, repeat. And I was able to stay hidden the whole way.
Sounds like you've got this hero thing figured out.
Well, mostly. I did almost get caught that last time. Scared the leaves off my tree, if you catch my meaning. I dove down here to hide and wait for you to arrive. Worked a lot better in my head, truth be told.
Did you learn anything about what's going on?
I found out that the stronghold contains a large prison of some sort, but I have no idea where they hid the thing. Nothing around here looks like a prison to me. Oh, I did hear something
Thanks, video game
else
history.
while I was sorting my arrows and waiting for you. A couple of Vosh rocks were arguing. One of them stormed off toward the Overlook. He sounded pretty upset with the cult. We might be able to get the prison's location out of him. Or, you know, he could alert the entire stronghold to our presence.
Any other ideas?
The cultists talk a lot. We might be able to eavesdrop on them and hear something useful. Or we can search the buildings and hope for the best. Either way, let's split up. We can meet back up after one of us finds something. If you discover anything useful, meet me behind the Great Hall. And try not to raise any alarms. The longer we can keep the Vosh Rock from discovering our presence, the less likely they are to start slaughtering any prisoners.
So prisoners might die if I fuck it up. Gotcha. And another thing, going back to the... I'm sure I should probably do an episode for the series on how to make a living at this. There's another benefit to starting my streams when I start my streams, which is not the primary reason I do it. So one of the reasons, I've always gotten up early, usually at 4 o'clock. That's usually been my start time for 20 years. I get up at 4 o'clock and I just start my day. I recently, about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, started getting up at 3 o'clock instead of 4 o'clock. And I'm starting my streams about an hour earlier. The reason for that, personally, is because we are watching our grandniece Monday through Friday. And I'm trying really hard. I had a pretty traumatic leg injury a year and a half ago, and I had to go through a bunch of physical therapy earlier this year. I've gained a lot of weight. I'm not very healthy right now, and I used to be pretty healthy, running 5 kilometers 3-4 times a week, and I haven't been able to do any of that for a year and a half. And I've been trying really hard. I'm not 100%. I still have days when I have a pain and it's annoying, but whatever. But I'm trying really hard to get back into regular exercise. So I've been going out and running once a week for the past 3 weeks. I just did my 3rd run yesterday, each time increasing by a little bit. But because of the schedule with our grandniece and stuff, if I get up at 3, I can start my stream by 3:30, 3:45, and then I get a good 3 to 4 hour session in before I need to help Chris with everything else. Which is around 8 o'clock. So if I stream from 3:30 to 7:30, that's a 3-hour stream. And then I can stop at 7:30. 4:30. God damn it. 4 hours. This is what happens when you self-medicate in the morning. The dyslexia kicks in. If I stream from 3:30 to 7:30, I get a 4-hour stream in. So if I start at 3:30 and finish up around 7, which is when usually that's a good cutoff point for me, I can then go to the river, do a run, or do some exercises here, or go to the park where I can do pull-ups and stuff. And then I'm back by 8 o'clock. I help Chris take the grandniece to school. We come back, we have breakfast together, I take my shower, and then I will do some video production, and then I take a nap. And then I can come back, wake up around noon, go help Chris get my grandniece from school, come back from school. I try to cook lunch half of the days of the week so that Chris has a break. So then like yesterday I cooked lunch, and then I will then come back and do another stream in the afternoon for another 3 to 4 hours, usually when Chris is outside doing all of her homestead chores, chicken coop, collecting eggs, cleaning all the duck stuff, like all that stuff. So from a personal perspective, I have started getting up earlier than I normally do so that I can help facilitate all of this. But I also go to bed super early. Like last night, we stayed up late. Late for us was we watched a movie last night because it was, our grandniece went home for the weekend, so we had a night to ourselves, and Chris asked if we could watch a movie. So we watched One Battle After Another, I think is what it's called. It's a new Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Phenomenal movie, by the way. I'll have the review out later today on YouTube. We started, it was like a 2 hour and 40 minute, like a 2.5 hour movie. So we finished, it was like 9:30 at night, which for both of us is way late, because we're usually in bed by, I'm usually in bed by 7:30. Chris will often stay up till 8:30 or 9 if the grandniece is needing her to be awake, because she sometimes doesn't like to go to bed early. But from a practical standpoint, there's also another reason why I like to start early, which is because I like to cultivate an international audience. Um, and I have just over 4 years of doing this full time. I have discovered that what works for me is between, if I start at like, getting up at 4, starting at 4:30, I'm in the North American side of the world. But there's not a lot of people who are streaming that early from the North American side of things. So when I start streaming at that time, I'm up before all of the big streamers, like Carnage as an example, because he starts pretty early and he has a very regular schedule. He'll start, I think it's around 7 a.m. Eastern, which depending on the time of the year for me is like 6 in the morning or something. So if I start at like 4 in the morning, I get a good 2 hours in before he goes live, and I'm getting audience members that would otherwise go watch him, and that's totally fine. I watch him a lot too. But that way I can get a couple of hours in before all the big streamers start going. And then I'm also getting an international audience because I'm getting early morning risers from the US. We have a pretty healthy oceanic audience in our morning streams. I think we have like Thaindar, Ali are both Australian. JK is New Zealand. We have quite a few other Australians in the audience from time to time. And then I get Europeans who are in their afternoon to evening slot. So, correct, exactly, Ali. Looking at this slot in particular, I get a pretty rounded international audience, which is very, very good for me because I'm a variety streamer. And I do a lot of different things on the channel. We do movie reviews, TV show reviews, discussions about things, and we do a lot of different games. So by fostering an international audience, I have a diverse community, and as a result, I feel like we have a very healthy and robust gathering of intellectuals who appreciate the good things in life and who aren't here for the wrong reasons. Because I have found, conversely, that when I stream in the evening hours or in the late afternoon, evening hours, I will get a much more North American audience. Not a bad thing, but you are limiting yourself by only having one type of audience. And then also, I have found that depending on the game we're playing, the North American audience can sometimes be, without getting political, there's a big difference between the education system in the rest of the world and the U.S. And I feel like we sometimes get a more trolly audience when we're only hyper-focused on that U.S. demographic. So I don't, care to cultivate a U.S. demographic. I prefer an international demographic. Before I did this for a living, I was a travel content creator, a travel influencer, travel blogger. I have lived in many countries over the years. I've had a 8-year relationship with a Bulgarian. I've been with Chris for going on 15 years now, Mexican and Latin American, so I definitely have a international vibe, if that makes sense. I mean, I just appreciate culture, and I think that we have developed a pretty good culture because of that. So there's a lot of reasons why I get up and start early, both from a business perspective, but also from a personal perspective. But even before watching our grandniece, we've talked about this before, I have been getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning for years. And I talked about that, I think maybe a week ago, when I used to freelance when I was in my 20s. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and getting my client work done before 7 or 8 a.m. meant that I could be on the beach, smoking a joint, having a run, going to the bit gym, all by 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And then by 10 o'clock in the day, I'm free for the rest of the day to do all of my stuff. So I would wake up early, get my client work done, go to the beach, go to the gym, and then after that, I would be able to go out and do all of my own personal photography, go visit the restaurants I wanted to go to, and create content for my travel blog. And that's how I built my my brand, that, you know, all those years and years and years and years and years ago. But even before that, you know, I worked construction as a third generation contractor for 20 years. So, and then on a dairy farm before that. So I have always, my whole life, gotten up before the sun comes up. And for better or for worse, even though I do not get along with my old man at all, that is one thing I can say that I at the very least picked up from him, which is no one's going to give you anything in life. And if all you do is sleep in and watch Netflix, and if you're lazy, you're never going to accomplish anything in life. And I'm not a millionaire, but I have been successful enough to pay everything off, do all the things I wanted to do. I don't have a bucket list because I've already done all the things I wanted to do in life before I was in my mid-40s. So now I get to sit here in my mid-40s and do this, which is, for me, I mean, I'm not retired, but is this really work? Like, I mean, I do put in full-time hours, but is it really work? Compared to all the other things I've done in life. I made that comment maybe 6 months ago. I did a YouTube short about how, you know, I grew up shoveling cow shit. So for me, playing video games, even the worst video game in the world is better than shoveling cow shit at 6 o'clock in the morning with your dad yelling at you that you're going too slow. Like, I'm sorry. The worst video game in the world will always be better than that. Or being on a job site, you know, at 4:45 in the morning when it's negative 30 degrees outside and you've got a space heater going to warm up your workspace. You've got a bucket heater in your bucket of water so that you don't freeze your hands off when you go to use your sponge to wipe the tile off or grout. I don't miss any of that shit ever. So, why do I get up early? All of those reasons. Should you get up early? I don't really think it matters to get up early. The most important thing is just take the world by the horns. You and only you are responsible for your destiny. Like, there's nothing standing between you and success but you. So you just have to figure out a schedule that works for you and go balls out. People's priorities are funny though, they just don't know. That's true, Thandar. Adara says I look great in your mid-40s. The whiteness in the beard makes me look a lot older. And if I shaved, I would drop probably 15 years, but I don't mind. Like, I really don't care. Chris was laughing at me because I went, I think it was 2 days ago. I went out for a walk, went to the park, did my exercises, came back, and I was all sweaty. And I just literally ran my hands through my hair, went to the supermarket, came back with groceries, and then took my grandniece to school. And she told me I looked like a homeless vagabond because my hair was just all over the place and I was all sweaty and helping take my grandniece to school. And I was like, the best part about being where I'm at in life is I just don't give a fuck. So it's like I stream every single morning with bedhead, and I was watching this other guy the other day, and he was literally like in the middle of his stream, he was like making sure that his hair was back perfectly with his hoodie up, and I'm just like, dude, just let it flow, bro. Let it flow. But bring your inner Khajiit out. It is Tamriel time, yes. This one sees familiar faces taking swings at Bethesda again, says Thandar. This is insane. Yeah, by the way, this is not the first time I've asked this question. When I was living in Playa del Carmen, I had a business partner who became a friend of mine. I had been hired to teach a workshop, a three weekend workshop on social media, brand building, all that stuff, and at this co-working location in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And so we were down there, and after the class was over, I had several consults, and one of the consults ended up being a guy who had a he was asking how much would it cost for you to come on and help my girlfriend and I with this project that we've been working on for the past few years. And I looked at it and went, you don't actually have to pay me. Just make me a 30% partner, and I will come work with you guys on that project because that looks really fun. I want to do that. So they brought me on, made me a 30% business partner, and I spent the next year and a half working with them. We took their Facebook page from 50,000 people up to 150,000 people over the course of a year. We did 3 ebooks and a whole bunch of merchandise and everything else. It's a great project. But he was always boggling because they lived, I don't know, like six houses down from us around the corner. But I've always gotten up at 4, and so I'm up at 4, and my workout routine used to be a little different there, where I would get up at 4 and I would do fasted cardio. So I'd be outside at 4:30, and I would be running my 5 kilometers around the block, and he would be barely, sometimes not even really awake yet. Like, there goes Tim. And he and his girlfriend both asked me, how the hell do you get up and have the energy to do things before like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning? And it was like, I go to bed early, I get up early, you go to bed late, you get up late. It doesn't really matter. It's just discipline. And I may be disciplined about that, but I'm not disciplined about other things. Like, I can't stop eating potato chips to save my life. And I literally have a burned inside of my cheek from yesterday because I love French fries, and I made a bunch of French fries yesterday, and I was just like, they were way too hot, and I horked them down and was like, I totally like burned the inside of my cheek yesterday. That's not discipline. So I have discipline in some areas of my life, but not others. Anyway, that's a good episode to go into the how to make a living. Why do I get up early? Also, another side effect is like Chris is still in bed. It's her day off. She'll probably sleep till 7. So by getting up early, I've always had 3 to 4 hours of me time. And that's usually when I get shit done. So 2025 was the first year I didn't write a book. It's the first year I haven't written anything professionally. And it was glorious. I just worked on this instead. But I have always enjoyed the morning writing slots. So I like to imbibe a little bit, if you know what I mean. And wake, bake, work has always been my philosophy. I like to get up early, have a little bit of motivation, drink my coffee, and then I'm immediately at the keyboard working on something creative. Personal time is very important, yes. From a professional standpoint and creatively. Like, it's nice to have your own headspace, doing our thing. Because, I mean, we live together, and we are together 24/7. Like, she is here all day. That's her life is her homestead. That's what she asked for in life, and I worked hard to get her that. And she is happier than a pig in shit doing that. Tired sometimes, but yeah, like, we don't have kids, and so watching our grandniece is a great joy for her. We've been very public about that. We had an ectopic pregnancy. God, it's been 10 years ago now, and we can't have kids. After that, they had to take out one of her fallopian tubes. She had a pretty traumatic surgery. We documented all of that. That was all when we were still doing travel blogging. And so we can't have kids. So it's, for us to be able to have our grandniece, it's a great time for that. So she has her personal space. I have my personal space. I'm here in the office. You guys see Chris. I mean, she's on stream every single day. But it is very important to have your personal space when you live together and work together. Because we've worked together on multiple projects over the years. We did the last game dev project she worked on with my brother and I. And then we worked in the travel space together before that. We managed an Airbnb before that. We had the tour agency. She was a public speaker alongside me. It is very important when you work together and live together with your significant other that you have personal space. And that's another great thing about getting up early. Is just, I get my space, and then she has her space, and then we just meet up a couple times a day to do things together. It works pretty good. We've been doing it for, like I said, about 15 years now. And we have I would like to think we have a pretty good routine. But she is not an early riser. And she's not a nice person until she's had coffee. So, Chris is definitely before we had the homestead, she was, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. But stays up until 2 o'clock in the morning. Whereas I am if the sun is down, I need to go to bed. But then I'm up with the ass crack of dawn. And I got a good rambly episode out of that, which is always awesome. Thanks for the question. Thank you, Allie. It's not something it was a long time ago, That's another reason, I've talked about, I don't think it's been a while since we've had this conversation in stream, but, in the course of telling that story, one thing that I took away from Co Carnage years ago was he has a moderator rule in his chat, which is no trauma dumping, and I'm very appreciative of that. And I have also been pretty strict about that in my own community about not allowing trauma dumping, because here's the thing: I've went through that. I lost a brother to suicide. Like, everybody in life has trauma. And it really irritates me, because it's just not true when people try to use trauma or use things as an excuse for why they can't accomplish objectives in life. There are kids out there who have no fucking feet, no hands. There's people out there who play video games with a fucking air tube and like cheek movements, and are professional Call of Duty players using a modified controller where they're literally like blowing into a tube and like moving it with their mouth and shit. Don't tell me that you can't accomplish things in life. I've got a guy on TikTok who is a blind woodworker. He does woodworking by hand, and his partner helps him with the social media. Like, don't fucking tell me that your trauma is, too much, or that you've had some sort of thing holding you back from accomplishing things in life. No. Now, I'm not saying that those things aren't real. I'm saying that you can either let those things define you, or you can define yourself. Now, I can say that, some people will be like, oh, but white privilege. Fuck your white privilege. It doesn't exist, bitch. Trust me. I never finished high school. I never went to college. I have been turned down probably for 85% of the jobs that I ever applied for as a freelancer because I didn't have a college degree and because I didn't have a high school education. Like, I was just a backwoods construction worker, fucking farm boy from Missouri, Everybody's got a cross they can bear. Wake up, get shit done. It's that simple. And now I gotta go get more coffee because my throat's dry. I'll be back. She's actually up in bed already, which is odd. She's normally not up this early. She's on her phone. Edra says, my schedule is stay up till 7 a.m., take out the dog, feed dog, go to sleep for 7 hours, wake up at 3 p.m., go about my day. As long as you get shit done, that's all that really matters. Leave the hidden prison. Locate the hidden prison. Avoid killing rookie cashier. Okay, so I have all of these objectives. Talk to the angry cultist. I think I would like to talk to the angry cultist who is out this way. I bet I have to go out with the same path that I came in, other than the arrows are no longer marked. And we now have enemies. Oh, he's above anyway. Oh, I see the arrows are gone. That's slightly frustrating. I don't know how I'm supposed to get over there without alerting people. Unless I go up that ramp, maybe? How am I going to get up that ramp, though? No, no, wrong thing, wrong button. Wrong game. Turn away so that I can get past you. Is he literally up? Oh no, I've got to get up there somehow. Without alerting people? That's just not possible. I have to take those 3 out. Like, how else am I getting on that bridge? I wonder if I can sneak past them, because those 2 are only facing that way. And this one paths. I still don't see how I'm going to be able to make it past that. Fuck. I'm doing it. I can't believe that fucking worked. I'm not a stealth character. I cannot believe that that worked. No, bro, don't jump. Sorry. That first option. Oh, my cheek hurts. That first option. Push him off the ledge. Just wanted to ask you a few questions.
What? Who are... Hold on. I'm not like the rest of these cultists. They forced me into this. Said they were going to kill me unless I converted to their cause. You've got to believe me.
What about that disagreement you had?
Listen, I'm not like them. Look at me! Do I look like an orc to you? I was a prisoner. They forced me. Join or die, they said. Oh gods, why is this happening? I don't want to die.
Tell me how to find the prison.
The prison? That's what we were arguing about. I said it isn't as secure as they think. Oh, sure, the main gate is impenetrable, but there are other ways to get in. They don't care. Who'd be dumb enough to jump into a prison, they said? It's below us. The prison is underground. The well leads directly to it, but it's pretty deep. I wouldn't recommend just jumping. Oh, gods. Please, don't kill me. I told you what I know. Let me go. Please.
You better not raise the alarm or I'll find you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to get out of here the first chance I get.
Alright, something about a well, but I got a rendezvous. With Evely. Oh no! Are you fucking serious? And I somehow survived anyway. I cannot believe that that just fucking happened. I gotta be careful because there was definitely mobs over here. I better go across over here. She's in a different location now.
Such potential from the veins of Nirni.
Yeah, I guess I gotta figure out how to get up to her.
Over here.
Did I miss the turnoff somewhere up in here?
I've had just about enough of this.
Okay. Gonna have to be creepy crawly again. Thanks for joining as a member over on YouTube, James Online PC Games. Appreciate the support. Am I a spiritual? I'm not religious. No. I am not religious. Spiritual is a good question. That's I wouldn't call myself an overly spiritual person either. I don't really focus on the metaphysical, if that makes sense. I'm definitely more of a realist, pragmatist, maybe. I don't know. I'm sure there's a terminology out there for the way I live my life. I just pretty much believe in science and things I can see and touch and feel. I think it's interesting to get baked and talk about things like, oh, there's, you know, the origin of the species and mushrooms and everything Terrence McKenna said and Alan Watts, and I think that there's interesting discussions that could be had. I think there's interesting conspiracy theories about, if you look at all of the religious texts in the world, they all share some sort of common denominators. There's interesting stories they all share. I think that I really appreciate the Carl Sagan look at things. I don't think I can jump up there. I'm gonna make a good attempt. Yeah, I don't think that that's possible. I think we're supposed to go up and around. Hang on, there's some steps here, maybe? Yeah, I'm not getting to those right there. I bet I'm supposed to go up and through somehow. Without getting caught. She is up in there, so I gotta figure out how to get up in there.
Too much to do in too little time.
Yeah, I also think that is something to be said, which is the spiritual world, quote unquote, is quite dirty right now. Shit, I'm gonna get seen. Especially with social media, like, everybody's got opinions. I just don't think anyone has pure intentions anymore because everyone's focused on getting clout and money, and even the most
Can these blessings upon this find?
like the ones that always make me laugh are like the oh shit, no, back up. Are you fucking coming all the way over here, bitch? Let's go fast. People who they promote off-grid living, right? And yet they have a $7,000 MacBook Pro. They have a $3,000 iPhone, and they've got to have like $15,000 worth of solar panels. And I always just chuckle at that because it's like, you're not really off-grid. If you were off-grid, you would be living like the Amish. Like, you wouldn't have an internet connection, you wouldn't have a Cash App, you wouldn't have a Venmo, you wouldn't have a PayPal, you wouldn't have a website, you wouldn't have social media, you wouldn't have your TikTok, you wouldn't have your expensive phone, you wouldn't have your expensive computer, you wouldn't have your Starlink connection. Like, you wouldn't have any of those things if you were truly off-grid. And that's kind of how I view, like, anybody who's, like, into spirituality in the modern era is, it's like, are you really, though? Because if you really were, you'd be living off in the jungle doing ayahuasca, and you wouldn't care about anything on the material plane whatsoever. You wouldn't care about having a social media presence, or whether or not your teachings are, you wouldn't care about any of that. You would be off in the jungle, having orgies, and drinking jungle juice, and connecting, man. I just, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm definitely a more science-based, logical person. I like to study the human condition.
Did you learn anything about the prison? I gathered some interesting information, but nothing that helps us at this exact moment.
Well, the prison is underground.
Underground? Like in a dungeon or something? I hope you don't expect
Thanks,
me to grab
Ishmael.
a shovel and start digging. I don't do that sort of thing.
There's a well. We gotta find a way to climb down.
Then this must be our lucky day. Not only have we avoided detection, but have found this rope in the barracks while I was looking around. It should be long enough to reach the bottom of the well. Follow me. I'll secure the rope and drop it into the well. Just be careful down there. Who knows what kind of monstrosities live at the bottom of an orc well? Come on, the well is this way.
Wait, Emily, I was charging my phone.
I'll hang back and look around up here a little more while you head into the prison. All right, the rope is secure. Good luck down there. Hope you find the prison.
Well, welcome aboard, Adamine. Appreciate it. For everybody tuning in for the first time this morning, we are live on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok, with Kick and TikTok being the recent additions to the live streams. 4 years full-time in February on YouTube, 2 years full-time on Twitch, a couple months back in October. Everything in between streams happens on YouTube, so get over there. Alright.
Interesting use of a rope. Remarkably convenient, too. I'm surprised nobody tried that before. You're not a prisoner. I know everyone they tossed down here, and you're definitely not with the Voshrock. All right, I give up. Who are you?
Well, you're Winnie the Pooh, and I'm Tigger, too.
Me? I'm no one. Just a humble engineer who built and maintained this prison. Before they tossed me into it, that is. I've been able to avoid the dangerous prisoners, at least so far. Lucky I literally know this place like the back of my hand. Well, I designed it, but most of the heavy lifting was done by the orcs of Clan Farin. The chief hired me despite my obvious non-orcishness. He appreciated my expertise and sardonic sense of humor. But it was those Voshrock who imprisoned me.
Why?
Well, not just me. They threw a lot of the clan members down here. And then the bastards, they opened the cages. Let the actual prisoners loose. It was some kind of sick game to them. But I never heard an alarm. You must be stealthy as a shadow.
Trying to help get people out of here. Can you help?
Well, this elixir might come in handy. There's a chamber you might come across. Fills with gas if the cell gates open accidentally. A fail-safe measure, you see. Drink this potion and the gas won't bother you. I always carry a vial, just in case.
Do we really trust this to be an anti-venom? Or is it going to knock me out and put me in a cell? Either way, we're going to have an adventure.
Ah, it tastes like barf, but works like magic. Oh, there's also a spike room. Amazing defense mechanism. Unless you're in the chamber when it activates. Remember that it resets if you don't turn the 3 valves fast enough.
Way around it?
No, not if you want to make it through the prison. But there's a 4th valve hidden around the wall near the exit gate. Close that valve before the others, and the trap won't reset. Consider this a reward for not getting me killed.
I probably don't need to be stealthy down here. I don't see anything telling me I need to worry about it.